All right. Hello, all you beautiful people out there. Episode 11, XBL Party USA coming at you. Got a special guest, host of the WBG podcast, Mr. Dirk Griggity. Got my co host, Powerman 4K. Got Fabio in from the Mothership Show. Got Slayer exclusive just joining us.
What a perfect timing.
I
How
know that was
amazing.
perfect timing, dog.
Jesus fucking Christ.
And what can I tell you? The last 9 days, watching the toxic meltdown, the double standards, people jumping back, bringing up games that are 5, 7 years old, saying, "Well, this is better." Okay, well, they haven't done a sequel in 5 to 7 years, so how can it be better? I mean, there's meltdown city, but we'll get into that. Let's start off by going to my man, Power Man 4K, brother. Where you been fighting your battles? What you been playing? How you feeling?
Oh man, it has. I have had a busy week on Twitter. It has been an interesting week to say, nonetheless. As you can see by our matching profile pictures, we hurt a few feelings out here on Twitter. You know what I mean? And I'm here for it right now. But other than that, man, I've been trying to finish. I've been finishing up. Finishing up some Halo. Right, I'm knocking out a few things here and there for that. I did the cyber event that was going on and got some pretty cool like cyberpunk looking stuff as an event, and that it was pretty cool. And I actually started diving back into Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I saw me and K Mega in last week's show. He was talking about it, and I was like, man, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and dive into that. I know it's like a huge game, but I need to finish that game because it is pretty cool. But yeah, man, that's it. Other than that, let's go.
Yeah, that new event has got some pretty nice looking armor on Halo. I've got 4 levels to go, and I think 4 days left to do it. And I really want the neon, the lit up neon mohawk. Now, that's what I'm striving.
Yeah,
That's what I'm striving for.
The good thing is that for this event, the challenges are pretty easy. So yeah,
Yeah, it's not
you
bad.
get them in no
You can
time.
knock out 2 or 3 in a match if you're actually like paying attention to them and doing them right.
Exactly.
And our guest, the host of the WBG podcast, Dirk Griggity. For those that don't know much about you, where you're from, where you're going, where you want to be, and what have you been playing?
He wants to go to Mars.
Well,
First things first. The
nah,
next
I
thing
don't
is
know
the
if I want to
moon.
go to Mars, but
Yeah.
Maybe the moon. Let's go small.
oh
Okay.
shit. No man. Thanks for inviting me. Yeah, I'm just here, man. I'm playing. Actually, I'm playing Max Payne for some reason, and I'm enjoying it. The original Max Payne. I'm really enjoying it. I always love that game. But it's funny because I'm an Xbox. I downloaded Call of Duty Vanguard because I didn't actually, buy it last year. I said, oh well, since Xbox is going to own them soon, I'm going to go ahead and buy it now. Then I forgot how much space it takes up on your hard drive.
Oh
But
my
it's
gosh.
actually a pretty
Yeah.
good game. What the campaign is anyway. So yeah, that's about it, man. And thanks for the invite, man. I'm ready to get the show going, fellas.
Anytime, brother. We're a young channel and a really young show, and we're just putting our fingers out there, man. We want to reach out to the community and bring in as much influence as we can, and we enjoy every second of it.
That's right, man.
Yeah, man.
Keep doing
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Fabio, the Brazilian monster, the Brazilian intruder.
Yes.
How you
Thank
doing,
you.
brother?
Thank you. My beautiful titles. I'm here. I'm good. Thank you so much for having me once again intruding the USA show. I've been playing Halo because I can't stop playing Halo. I've been playing Sea of Thieves. I'm really, really, really close to becoming Power Legend on that game. And I also started to play Call of Duty Cold War. Black Ops Cold War. I played one match of it, and I gotta say, I was quite surprised with my performance because I thought, okay, I'm way too used with Halo, so maybe I'll suffer a lot with COD since the last time I played Call of Duty was with Modern Warfare 3. So that
Wow.
was a long time ago, man. And Yeah, I did. My KDA for my first match ever was 11-11. So yeah,
And
works
we
fine
can
by me.
keep you out if we wanted to, Fabio. I mean, the link goes right up in our channel's Discord. So,
I
I mean,
know.
it's kind of like anybody who wants to jump in. I could have like 10 panel members here right now, and I would be like, I'd feel bad for turning any all away. But
Well, again, once again, if you prefer for me to leave, I can just get the fuck out of here and play something else. It's all good.
no, 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 that's
Speak,
okay. We need.
speaking of it, like before we started record this show, we were talking about language, and when we started this, I thought to myself, why don't we change the intro to the America Fuck Yeah music from South Park?
Oh yeah, if we were monetized, that would definitely not be monetized.
No, that wouldn't be
Ah,
good.
who cares about monetization?
Right? You're right. You're right.
It's just for the
All right,
music.
You're right. Fuck
all
them
right,
ponies.
Mr. Slayer exclusive, right on
What's
time,
up?
brother.
Yes,
So,
sir.
what you been doing?
Well, I literally just actually I was playing a little bit of ESO just now, which is why I was a little late. Sorry about that.
For
Because
one
I
moment, I thought you were going to say I was playing League of Legends.
no 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 no, but I got excited because I logged on to ESO tonight and I saw the I didn't like really look at the news today because I was like busy at work. But as soon as I logged in, I saw, like when you log in and you see like events and stuff, like new news on the game. They finally had that stream today for the new expansion that's coming out in June. So pretty excited about that. Um,
It's gonna be
it
like a
is
pirate theme, right? Is that what it seems like? That's what I were hinting at.
not really actually. It's more like it's so it revolves around the Bretons, which
Okay.
are like I mean I'm not sure. Maybe they're
Humans, but with blood of the elves, so they are pretty good magicians.
yeah, and they have like their area looks very like medievalish. Looks kind of cool. Like there's like they
Mhm.
have like night tournaments and stuff like that. It looks really really cool. They have like the package is already up for pre-order on the store. They have a whole trailer which I watched. It was freaking awesome. Yeah, it looks very interesting, and I'm excited because I've been playing a lot of ESO lately, and I've been really getting into it.
I feel like that game really doesn't get a fair shake sometimes, man, because of like the shaky launch that it had and everything. It's really weird because not comparably when you look at like Final Fantasy 14, dude, like Final Fantasy 14 launched terribly, absolutely terribly, and then they had a Realm Reborn and it just brought it back. And I don't know, man. I feel like ESO is, it doesn't get a fair shake sometimes, but it's actually a really good game. You actually kind of got me back into it. I was playing it the other day using the cloud feature that's on the Xbox consoles, where you don't have to download it. You just kind of like dive in, and I was having a really good experience with it like that. Granted, I have good internet, but I was having a good time.
Yeah, I mean it is a 100 gig download, so it's not a small game at all. I mean it does have a lot of content though. Like this is actually the MMO that I've gotten into since WoW. I was a big WoW head, but like I said, which I may have mentioned on here before. But like this is the game that kind of like got me back into MMOs because I kind of got tired of WoW for a bit and I stopped playing it. Then I kind of got back into it with the last expansion. Wasn't
Yeah.
really digging it too much, and especially with all the controversy around Blizzard, kind of like I said, like, listen, I can't, I don't know if I want to support these guys anymore, especially with the expansion not being all that great anyway. The new expansion looks promising,
Yeah.
but we don't need to get into that. That's a whole nother conversation. But yeah,
Yep.
like that was
Yep. Yeah.
cool.
We're going. I
Uh,
can't
uh,
help but
Yeah,
do the MMO
I,
stuff.
yeah,
yeah, like I think the case with Elder Scrolls Online was mostly because of the way they decided to start the game, not just because of the content and how it was impossible to progress to buy shit, so they were kind of forcing you to actually pay real money to get just a fucking horse.
Yeah.
But like there was this little detail that was like you pay $60 for the game and you pay $15 a month to keep playing it, just like a monthly fee as WoW uses to this day. So
yeah,
and
yeah.
like that that's always has been pretty shit. So I don't play WoW, especially because of that. Because why should I? Why should I pay a monthly subscription when I already bought the fucking game and I bought all of their expansions? You know what I mean? So I think
I
it's
I,
just
I
it's
agree with
unfair.
that, Fabio. But I will say, and so from somebody I played a lot of WoW myself, I will say, okay, so like if you think about it like a regular Xbox game and you get a patch, right? A patch in WoW is literally probably the equivalent of like a DLC in Destiny, right? Like you get a
Mhm.
raid, you get an entirely new area, you get armor, so that their patches, quote unquote, is kind of like what you're getting in between these major expansions. Like right now, it's in Shadowlands, and they've had like they're on like the 10th patch or whatever it is that they're on right now, and each one is a new area. Now, granted, this is like recycle mechanics. That's the main, a lot of the main issues they're having with the player base is they're not paying attention to like actually making systems and mechanics that people like enjoy. You know what I mean? But granted, for those subscriptions, you're getting a fair amount of content. I'm not saying it's fair, but
But like I don't know because how long does it take for them to release an expansion?
like every two. I mean, the major ones are like what, like 2 or 3 years, Slayer usually.
Yeah, that's a pretty good
So
average. Yeah, I
so
would say so.
so like if we are considering that the monthly subscription is for you to buy the expansion and you already have to buy the expansion and not just pay the monthly fee, are you going to like you are
I,
paying
I'm not
for much
not gonna
more
have
than
to, man, because it's gonna be included in Game Pass.
oh
It's gonna
yeah,
be included in that Game Pass subscription, man.
oh
Don't
yeah,
can't forget about that.
no, no, I'm talking about the structure that WoW has right now. I'm not talking about the
Oh
future, which
yeah,
is totally
yeah. I
certain.
mean,
But
it's really dependent on me. If I like I said, I usually go in like I'll go in like 6 month increments, and then that would give me enough time to like do whatever it is I want to do, and then I would decide after that if I want to keep in. Like I did that for Shadowlands, and I've already like let it expire, so
hmm
I won't
fair
pay
enough,
attention to it probably until like the next expansion.
fair enough, fair enough.
Yeah, I mean, if WoW comes to Game Pass, I mean, like, and the it's
That would
gonna
be
be free.
huge. That would be
I don't see
huge.
it happening personally. I feel like that makes way too much money right now as is, and
Yeah,
Slayer, wishful
yeah,
thinking, wishful
no,
thinking.
of
Right.
course, yeah. I
Correct,
mean,
but
listen, but yeah,
it doesn't make. We're not talking about the money that it's made for you to purchase the game so that you can play it.
right, yeah. I think well, what I'm saying is the subscription is gonna stay.
I
They're
believe this.
probably
yeah. They'll probably add like mount. You probably get like Xbox exclusive mounts or Xbox exclusive skins or some or maybe like gold packs or I don't know. Who knows? Who knows where they're gonna go
maybe.
with
I
that
mean,
route?
maybe they'll do the same thing that they did with ESO, where they'll make it optional, but they'll give you like perks if you do buy the subscription.
Exactly, exactly,
Which
and this is why I respect ESO much more. Sorry to interrupt you.
no, it's fine. Like I
No, you're
have that
good.
subscription. Like it's worth it, like because the perks that you get for it are like pretty cool. You get experience, you get like extra bag space and stuff like that. So it's worth it in my opinion. Like I've been playing for that pretty much like ever since I got the game.
hmm
And but yeah, yeah. So I've been playing ESO. Don't want to keep you guys waiting too long. And then other than that, I tried out. There is so Dying Light 2 is coming out in a week from tomorrow, and they're apparently have like an event right now called Spike's Story. So there's a part one this week and then a part two next week. So I went to check that out a little bit. There's unfortunately nothing story related yet, as far as I know. I was playing it for like an hour, and all I saw was like challenges, like bounties, which I wasn't really interested in. You just get like items for Dying Light 1, which was like okay, it's kind of cool, but eh. Hopefully the part two will be more of like story related, which will like lead into Dying Light 2. That's what I read that was supposed to happen. So we shall see. But yeah, other than that, I played a little bit of The Cave. That's like an old 360 Xbox Live Arcade title from
I
Double
remember
Fine.
that. I remember that.
Awesome game. Love that game. And yeah, that's about it. I played a little bit of Halo Infinite and Sea of Thieves with with Fabio and Ash, and yeah, that's about it.
Man, I just can't get into that game. I really wish I could. I think I've had too many bad experiences where I'm feeling good. I've got some chests. I've done a couple quests. I'm on my way back to port to bring my loot in. And then I find these griefers that are just kind of circling the port. And I'm like, I didn't last for
Yeah,
this. What in the
Yeah,
world?
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
like
we Fabio and I had like
mm,
a little bit of an incident the other day too.
I rage quit. Yeah, I'm
Pretty
You
much,
rage
like
quitted.
pretty much.
I don't buy that.
here's the thing. We lost a lot of loot, and when I saw that we were defeated, I was like, okay, I'm done with Sea of Thieves for tonight. Thanks for today, mate.
Yeah, it wasn't like a rage quit where like he actually did rage. He was just kind of like defeated. Like his whole soul was just like, that's
I
it,
was
I'm done.
disappointed. I was disappointed with
Yeah.
myself. I thought, how could Rare betray me? How could they do this to me? I just want to become a Power Legend, goddammit.
Yeah, it was rough. Like I literally got on to help him out, and we spent about an hour getting skulls, and then yeah, and then like out of nowhere, somebody just like sailed up like right behind us. We did nothing. We were just chilling on an island, getting skulls, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, this other ship comes in. We tried fighting back. They were just too good at the game. Probably playing the game since launch, and like just
Out of
literally
the
living
sun,
that game. And yeah,
out of the sudden, we are reminded that we are playing Sea of Thieves. So yeah,
All right, everybody. I just want to remind you all like, share, and subscribe to the channel that has a freaking 17-minute intro. Okay. Who else does this? We're breaking ground. But on to
now
our first topic.
now
So
a net break.
during last Thursday's episode, it was still pretty fresh. We were only 3 days in from hearing the news of the Activision acquisitions. I have to say that slow. I think that was written in the cards and it was seen in the starlight that we're going to acquire the developer that has a name that sounds like Acquisition. It was written in the stars. But since then, since it just seems like the overreacting has gone to a new level. Aaron Greenberg, he's taken flack for a photoshopped picture of him with Crash, and I think it's cool. I mean, everybody a lot of us like Crash Bandicoot from our childhood, and he was the PlayStation mascot. And when you thought PlayStation back in the late 90s and the early 2000s, you thought Crash Bandicoot and Metal Gear Solid and stuff like that. But that's another topic to go into. So I can see him being hyped about they've got Crash. Or they're going to have Crash. What could they do for this franchise? It's kind of like, I'm a huge Halo and Gears fan. If somebody would not knocked on my door one day and said, hey, guess what? You have full control over Halo. What are you going to do with it? I'd be ecstatic. So Aaron's happy. And people have a problem with that. And it's been a snowball effect too, because now you've got a snowball that's like 30 feet tall and it's rolling at 50 miles an hour through the neighborhood because everybody's putting their picture now next to Crash. And it's classic. I'm loving every second of it. But at the same time, you've got these trolls on Twitter that are coming out and they're saying, well, yeah, that's trash. Uncharted's better than Call of Duty. I'm sorry, what?
Mm,
You're talking about the
it
game
depends.
that had the fourth, it was when did 4 come out? Somebody refresh my memory. Was it 5 years ago?
2016.
2016.
Okay. So 6 years ago. And then since then we've had 2 spinoffs. In their own right, they were but not as we had A Thieves End. What was that? Was that the name of the fourth
That was
one?
it,
Or was
yeah.
that
They had
And
that
So-
the,
one.
and the other one was The
That one
Last of Us
spinoff.
2. Oh, just
Right, the one spinoff. And now
He's
I
Lost
saw an
Legacy.
advertisement where they're going to bundle the fourth one with the spinoff. Why are we still rebranding and reselling things? Oh, that's right, because we don't have smart delivery or FPS boost and upres. That's right. So we're just going to sell you a new version. But at the same time, they're like, well, this game is better than Call of Duty, and no, it's not. Can you mention? I mean, you've had two decent games. You've had Demon Souls, and you've had Crash Bandicoot, and you've had Returnal. And why couldn't you say one of them was better than Call of Duty?
Yeah, listen, all of that right there is just cope, man. All of them are just coping right now. They are hurt. They're in their feelings because not even 2 or 3 months ago, all I heard about Call of Duty from the PlayStation side was like that was their multiplayer. That's all they need, right? I heard all you need is COD.
Right.
They don't need Halo, right? Remember that? Remember when, like November 2020, they said they don't care about Halo because they got Call of Duty, correct? So now we get this news about Activision Blizzard being acquired, and shockingly, they have changed the narrative to now Call of Duty is trash. Now we're seeing screenshots of Vanguard's Metacritic score, right? Even though that Call of Duty is the number 1 and number 2 best-selling game in the world this year, last year, and maybe even before that. I didn't check, but I checked the last 2 years. So Cold War and Vanguard are the number 1 and number 2 best-selling games. So the fact that they're trying to downplay that and make that seem like it's not as big as it is absolute nonsense. And at this point, I don't even pay no attention to them. They're not at this point. They know how harsh this is going to hit. And on top of that, with all the new news about Jason Schreier saying that basically they're going to get 2022's Call of Duty, 2023's Call of Duty, and they're going to get the new Warzone. And guess what? And they said after that, it's quote unquote getting hazy. And that to me tells me that Phil Spencer is going to, the ball's in his court. He's sitting at the table, and now he's the one that gets to set the demands, right? He's the one that gets to say, okay, this is how much you're going to get if we keep Call of Duty. And guess what? All you got to say is no to one of these stipulations, and we keep it exclusive. Simple as that.
I honestly think that the worst part is not necessarily people now saying that Call of Duty is bad, but the worst part for me is people saying that, oh my god, you are making fun of PlayStations and that's bad because you are incentivizing console wars. Like, for fuck's sake, let me remind you of 2016 of a pretty small unknown fighting game called Street Fighter V, which was released for the PS4. And when people asked, is it going to be released? Can Xbox players play that game? The Capcom developer, he chuckled and he said, well, the PS4 is pretty cheap right now, so you may get one and play the game by you doing that. Like,
Yeah.
Thanks.
Dirt. What are your thoughts? I wanted to ask you, like, what are your thoughts on the Call of Duty exclusivity? Like, how do you feel about it? Like, post, the stuff that we know.
Well, I think that, well, like you said, the whole thing that Jason Schreier said, I actually believe that, because of course, like we remember Sony, like the next day came out and saying, I hope Xbox will abide by all the contractual agreements. They said that because Sony know they have 3 more games that was agreed upon. I don't know if it's because of the marketing deal or I don't know, but I believe that, and I do believe. Now, I obviously could be wrong, but part of me is thinking that after this is the obligations are over with, these games are going to be, well, not Warzone 2 like you mentioned. Those games will remain on PlayStation. They will remain multi-platform, but I do believe the standalone Call of Duty games will be exclusive to Xbox, and they will not be an annual franchise anymore. And I love how Fabio just said, what's it that said about Street Fighter 6, because
Street Fighter 5.
I'm sorry, my
The
bad.
6 is not even out. Like, god damn, do you have any info on Street Fighter 6? Tell me.
Yeah, well, no, I'm sorry, no info about that. But the thing is, the hypocrisy is absolutely crazy to me.
Yes.
Because we all know that last generation there was so many different instances of PlayStation just doing things and PlayStation fans loving every bit of it. From the 2013, this is how we share our games. From I know Xbox made some stumbles initially in 2013, but the PlayStation fan base ate it up. Now they're acting all sensitive and soft because Xbox is being aggressive. You guys said Xbox needs to be competitive. You guys said Sony needs some competition. That's what you said, right? Yes, they're doing that. They're being competitive. They're using their resources that because people always said Xbox. Can you be Xbox? Well, I mean, can you be Microsoft? Can you show that you're a big company? Yes, they're showing that now. No, they're whining. No, not like that. Don't do it like that. Don't buy everything. So just like with the Bethesda deal, when Paris Lilly said you don't spend $7.5 billion to keep things the same, I'm thinking the same thing with COD. You don't spend that type of money to keep things the same. And this is going to hurt PlayStation more than Bethesda acquisition ever could have hurt PlayStation, because this is an annual franchise that is always the best selling PlayStation game every year. So this is going to hurt them.
I agree completely. And I think that, I mean, when you think about the annual income that Call of Duty is bringing in for Sony, right? Like they're always talking about the revenue that PlayStation's bringing in and bragging about it, and how Xbox is only bringing in X amount of money. I can guarantee you Call of Duty is a major component in the amount of money that they're bringing into that ecosystem, right? And it's like I said last night, I said it on Z's show. I was like, what if Phil Spencer was just like, what? After this, we want to take a break. Now PlayStation has to figure out, okay, well, where is this money coming from that we've been used to getting every year on PlayStation, right? Because it's the best-selling game by a long shot. So they're used to that money coming in all the time. And guess what? The shareholders and everybody that's looking at this stuff is paying attention to it. And it's why you're seeing a very slow but steady downhill on their stock share.
Well, don't forget another very good fact that nobody's thinking about. Up until recently, to play Call of Duty multiplayer, you had to buy that Call of Duty game that you got the multiplayer with, that you got the campaign with. And so, and trust me, you're not sitting around for a year playing the campaign over and over and over and over. You play the campaign, you go through it, you experience the story, the blockbuster effects and the high production values, and then you move right on to multiplayer. And so right now, as far as the data goes, we don't have any data on how much Vanguard has earned them, but we do know about how much Warzone has earned them. And here going forward, I'm not too sure whether or not the mainstay Call of Duty game is going to be as close to the top of the charts as it has been, because we didn't have a Warzone before, and now we do, and it's free to play, and it's still banking because of these in-game purchases. So a free to play game, I would honestly, I would be okay with Warzone 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'd be on everything. Right. That's more money, and that's more money in my home team's pocket. But the campaign, those high production values, that story, that movie that you play through, and the action, that should be exclusive as quickly as possible.
Yeah,
I agree wholeheartedly.
Any thoughts on that, Slayer? Don't you dare to be quiet during this.
No, I was just letting everyone talk. Sorry about that. No, I was just yeah. I mean, we kind of touched upon this last week, and I personally, like I said last week. I mean, I don't think that you know Call of Duty is going to go multi-plat once this deal actually goes through. Like there was a basically like it is known right now, or thought to be known, that up until 2023, basically they're going to honor the deals that they made. So those Call of Duty games that are coming up, between now and that, and like maybe the next year or two, will stay on PlayStation. But after that, I think, other than Warzone, it's just not going to happen. Like Warzone is probably going to be the only one that's going to stay on PlayStation. I think the mainline Call of Duty games are gonna be exclusive, and they're not going to release on a release schedule like they would, because like they used to, because that's what Phil Spencer kind of said that he wants to try to change, and I think that's what developers kind of want to do, so they could like actually spend more time on it, which is a good thing. I think in the end they're going to get more time on it to flesh it out more, which is going to be great. But yeah, sorry, Parman, did you want to say something?
No, I was just agreeing with you, man. I wholeheartedly believe that. I was a little bit unsure about it when it first came out, but as the news and the information has started to drop, my thought process is lined up perfectly with what you were saying. You can, at this point, after 2023, and whether you like Jason Schreier or not, listen, you're probably blocked either way, right? Because he don't play no games, but the dude, he's pretty good about information. He clearly knows, he clearly gets his stuff. So a lot of the times I take it with a grain of salt, obviously, but it's very specific, and it shows you like where the Sony contract stops, right? Like we know it stops in 2023, right? And we already kind of knew that Warzone was going to be multi-plat, right? Just like Elder Scrolls, right? Just like Fallout 76. Those games, they don't really make much sense to not be multi-plat, right? Because they're large, they require a huge,
Elder
huge
Scrolls
player
Online, you
base.
mean?
Elder Scrolls Online, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah. So with that being said, Warzone, I feel kind of fits into that dynamic, right, of those types of games. But like Bob said, like the multiplayer, right, which still has a huge following, millions of people play all the time, and obviously that campaign which now is going to have multiple years for them to like refine, maybe change some stuff, add some new things we haven't seen since Call of Duty. Because there was a time, man, when Call of Duty used to be like, they used to invent stuff. You know what I mean?
Yes.
They were really kind
Every
of setting the
iteration was
bar.
a cutting edge on top
Yeah,
of the one that came before
bleeding
it.
edge graphics, bleeding edge mechanics, bleeding edge gunplay. You know what I'm saying? And
Story twists and turns.
yeah,
Mhm.
and they really fell off from that. And I really think that like under Phil Spencer as the CEO of Microsoft Gaming, that they can actually have the resources, and b that he can kind of get rid of that toxic community that's coming around them with that crunch. And they're going to have to work hard, but like I just don't think it's going to be the same as it is right now.
Like
So with
Yeah.
I don't know. I still stand by what I said about saying that I think it would be good for COD to remain multiplat, because it's a really giant community, and just like with the Minecraft community, you don't want to fuck with the COD community. But I think the game that mostly would be part of the same category as Minecraft would be Warzone. So yeah, I think it could work for the normal CODs to be exclusive, but for Warzone to continue multiplayer, yeah, I can see that working.
so
Fair
we've
enough.
seen the fanboys' reaction. Let's talk
Ah,
a little
Jesus.
bit on what Sony's
Mr.
reaction is
President.
going to be. What's Sony going to do? How are they going to answer this?
Oh,
Should we
I
talk
Go
about
ahead,
think
Dirt. Go ahead,
acquisitions?
Dirt. Tell
I'll tell you what they're gonna do.
Go on.
them.
What are we gonna do? Now, look, I really feel that Sony has a lot of multiplayer projects in development right now. Obviously, none of them are going to be as big as Call of Duty initially, maybe eventually, but I think they're going to try to make their own type of Call of Duty game. Just my opinion. I'm not sure if it's going to be a success. But what can they do? Like the same thing with those Bethesda titles, those future Bethesda titles. They pulled them away from the platform, just like Sony has pulled games away from Xbox. Final Fantasy games, even though that's third party. Those games won't be on Xbox this generation. That's what the rumor said. Spider-Man, superhero games, those games were always multiplats. So it's an aggressive business. Sony has been aggressive. Now Xbox is being aggressive. And Sony will have to figure out a way to have some more type of multiplayer games because Power Man said it. Those PlayStation fanboys are screaming, yo, we got Call of Duty. And yes, they did have Call of Duty, and they'll have it for a couple more years. But after that, you guys got to figure out something else. Like besides Warzone, of course.
Now, you know as well as I do, the second anybody gets a whiff of another kill zone, they're all going to be screaming, oh, it's a Call of Duty killer. It's a Call of Duty killer.
Anything.
What
It could be Predator Hunting Grounds too. They'd be like, oh, it's a COD killer.
Oh my god, yeah.
Wasn't that supposed to be a Halo killer?
Right,
Yeah,
it was.
yeah, Killzone was
And
supposed
now
to
it's
be.
going to and now it's going to be a COD killer. So you mean that if Xbox buys EA, I'm not saying that it is going to, but if Xbox ends up buying EA and a new Killzone gets announced, they're going to say it's a Battlefield killer now. Like, god damn it.
Yeah, I think that obviously, I think that at this point right now, and we're not even close to them actually closing this deal. So I don't think that we're going to hear very much in the way of acquisitions. I wouldn't be surprised if they don't say anything about acquiring anything until this is over. I don't think that they're done, right? Like personally, if I had to guess, once they finish this deal up, it looks like they're getting really comfortable with IO Interactive, right? It looks like they're getting pretty chummy with them. And then I've always thought that Crystal Dynamics would be a good pickup. They're working on Perfect Dark. They did a great job with Tomb Raider. And I don't know. I feel like it was that's one of those acquisitions that, the Sony fanboys like to bring up, that it just makes sense, or that they've already worked with them and what have you. But the petty side of me wants them just to buy Square Enix just to see them all cry, because they want to play. Here's the thing, and I was going to talk about this earlier, and I'm sorry that I'm rambling, but Sony gets away with doing the most underhanded deals and moves, right? With Final Fantasy, we still ain't got Final Fantasy 7 remake. We still ain't got Final Fantasy 14. And literal clauses in their contract saying that it is not allowed to go into Game Pass. And this type of behavior is not only applauded, but it's overlooked, right? And then Microsoft, just like Dirk Griggity said earlier, man, Microsoft came out this generation ready to play some ball, right? They've been practicing. They're ready to play ball. And they came out there and said, hey, you know what? We're not going to play by your rules. We're going to make our own rules. So they invented a way and found a way to go past the box, right? To develop an ecosystem that encompasses PC, mobile, and console. And also on top of that, they said, you know what? Maybe we don't have all the resources in-house right now with the studios that we have to make these level of games. So guess what? We're going to flex our biggest superpower that Microsoft has. And guess what that is? Money. And they went out and they said, you know what? We're going to start buying up these people. We're going to create a good environment for these developers to make games. And that's going to be our superpower walking into this generation. And I know that everybody's able to see that. And we've already seen from the sales, all the records that are being broken, right? They're selling more consoles than they were in the 360 era. I would argue that we're already in a better era of gaming than we were in the 360 era.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Power, they don't want to see that though,
No.
because Microsoft bad.
Okay, so this is not.
Hey, fellas, isn't it funny that they wanted Microsoft to be more competition now that Xbox is doing great things? That this isn't organic.
Now this is perfect for me to say that I made a post on Twitter in this last a few days ago, and like I think it sums up pretty much the whole experience. Okay, can I read for you guys?
Yeah, go ahead.
In the last few days, I've learned some new things in gaming. Only one platform is allowed to have exclusives. Keeping games away from a platform through timed exclusivity is better than owning the IP. A monthly free subscription for more than 100 games is bad for gaming. You can be a monopoly even if you are in third place of the largest world gaming company, and you can also be a monopoly and still be told by others that you have no games. Surely all of that makes sense. Otherwise, why would people continue to say it? The more you know.
Oh my
You
god.
know, and what's sad is if you remember back in the 360 era, that was the dominant player base, and everybody was so disappointed with the Xbox One. I feel like the Xbox One's faltering out of the gate and stumbling like the way they did at E3, that if it hadn't been for that, the PlayStation 4 would not have been the way it was, and it would not have been as successful. And if you have a whole large group of players, we've seen it with content creators on YouTube flipping sides. Well, those are just the people that are advertising it.
Well,
There
hey,
are a
listen.
I mean,
ton
let's be
more that
honest.
haven't.
Let's be honest. Xbox fucked up during that presentation, especially because of the
Correct.
answers that Don Matrix said. You don't want to be online all the time. We have a product for that. It's called Xbox 360. That's
Yeah,
such a
but hey,
douchebag
listen.
answer.
It was
Like you're
it was
not.
really a shame, right? It was a total
Yeah.
shame because the Xbox One launched with better games, right?
Absolutely.
Absolutely,
Yes,
100%.
I trust.
PlayStation 4 launched with what? Knack and
Killzone.
Killzone
Killzone.
Shadowfall. It was an absolute atrocity, and Sony knew that going into it. PlayStation or Xbox, man, we had a Killer Instinct remake that had a lot of hype going on it.
Rise.
Dead
Rise.
Rising,
The
Rise
first
Son of
3
Rome.
years had better games.
Yeah, absolutely.
We had
Xbox
Sunset.
One came out
Titanfall
looking
came out in
strong.
March.
Titanfall. Yeah, exactly. Dirt.
We had
Thank
a
you.
ton of awesome game announcements like Sunset Overdrive.
Yeah.
Yeah, by the very creators that they admonish over on the Sony side right now and love them, right? The same play set. So it really was, and it goes to show back to my previous point, man. That like, listen, if Sony bought Activision Blizzard right now, not only would nobody be talking about what would be happening, because I think Sony would probably be. I don't even know if they would honor the contracts, man.
No, they
to be
wouldn't.
honest, I really don't. Yeah, exactly. You know what I'm saying? Like what Dirt, what do you feel like how do you feel that would play out? Let's say that they bought Activision Blizzard. Like how do you think that would play out from Sony's side?
Let me tell you something right now.
Let's go. Do you want to
It
be
would
the
be
host?
quick. They would maybe try to void out the contract or buy out the contract. I'm not sure how they would do it, but I guarantee you, Xbox would never see another Call of Duty game as soon as that contract was finalized.
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
I guarantee it, man. That's just how it is. I mean, business is aggressive,
Yeah.
and back like we were just talking about the Xbox One generation. Now, I talk about this a lot on my channel, and there's some Xbox fanboys in my comment section. They're true Xbox fanboys. Like they don't want to hear that.
Oh, they're
But
the
I like to
definition
talk.
of Xbot.
Yeah, exactly. I like to talk about it sometimes because I love to show, like talk about where they were to where they are now. I love to talk about that because it's a great story to see where they went through, what they've been through. But the aggressiveness of Sony in 2013, and like you said, if Xbox didn't drop the ball, would things have been different? Maybe, probably, but
Maybe.
because Xbox library was way better the first few years. See, but the thing was like the timing was so bad. Xbox started off the generation with way more games, but because of some of the things that they like some of the decisions they made, having a
Let's
more expensive box that was less powerful, that obviously hurt them a lot. And by the time, like the beginning of the generation, it was about power. Then by the time PlayStation started to get games, Xbox didn't have any games. They stopped having games. So last generation was just horrible all the way around. It was just the timing was just terrible. And when Xbox, got those studios in 2018, that was great. But the unfortunate part, games take time to develop. And so
Right.
that's why they're doing much better now, and I'm here for all of this pony hate. I really am.
Oh yeah.
and like
And
and because of the failure that Xbox brought to themselves with the Xbox One generation because of its reception in 2013. We had some pretty big casualties. Like the Xbox gaming division was almost about to die,
Absolutely.
and we ended up losing Lionhead Studios and Press Play Games as a result of that.
Yeah.
And I had Tim Dog on a WBZ last week, and we talked about that. Tim said he know for a fact that Xbox was definitely almost out of here. Not just back in 2014, 20. He said all the way up until 2017.
Wow.
Satya
Wow.
Nadella was still questioning, why do we need Xbox in this company, Microsoft? And as we know, Phil Spencer had to convince him. That's maybe why something like Xbox Game Pass came out, because he loves the service aspect.
Exactly.
And it,
And when Phil Spencer got that promotion in late 2017, right before Project Scorpio came out, I remember that vividly. Before the Xbox One X came out, Phil Spencer got that promotion. I believe the week before.
mhm.
That's when you knew, okay, that's great. Let's see what happens from there. And here we are 5 years later. Oh my God, I didn't see this coming.
Like the first thing that Phil Spencer did, one of the first things that Phil Spencer ended up doing when he became head of Xbox was buy Mojang and Minecraft in 2014. So like, goddamn, this is a pretty big move. And what else they did? They didn't make it exclusive. So like, they also made a good thing for the entire Minecraft community, even though they just acquired them.
Yeah, I see. I always felt that was more of a just a business deal than a gaming deal.
Like when you think about Minecraft and how powerful it is, and when you think about the price that they paid for Minecraft, like that was a steal.
Yeah.
Like they just
Oh
acquired
yeah.
the entirety
And
of Minecraft for $2 billion, and they just bought Activision for 68.7 billion. So like, Jesus Christ.
So,
if it, oh, go ahead, Bob.
so I mean, so what is Sony going to do? Because all we've never seen a huge commitment from Sony. Not not like Bethesda or ZeniMax, and not like Activision Blizzard. We see they got themselves a small stake in Epic. We've seen exclusivity deals. Apparently, they have a publishing deal, a content deal with Call of Duty until 2023. But I, so what are they going to even try to acquire anybody? Because the cheapest one out there right now that will actually make waves is going to be Ubisoft, and
Yeah.
Ubisoft right now is valued at just over 7 billion. But don't forget, you can't buy them for 7 billion. You have to pay for what could be anticipated their worth when the deal is closed. So if they wanted to buy Ubisoft, it would probably be about a $17 billion deal. And I don't see Sony, and
I
I've
don't think they
never
have
seen
capital.
Sony make
No.
that kind of commitment. It's not going
Yeah.
to happen.
Like
No.
that was
Yeah, I
that
mean,
was
we all know that they don't have deep pockets, right?
Yeah.
So there's not much that they can really do. Like, I feel like they're probably gonna like keep doing what you just said. Like, they're gonna make like the smaller deals and maybe buy
Exactly.
out like smaller studios, which is kind of what other people are thinking too. Like, they can't, they just like, and also, not only do they not have as much money as Microsoft, like nowhere near, but they also have, I think, more debt than
Hmm.
Microsoft
Yeah,
does.
they do.
like
Yeah.
let's be honest that also they don't have uh, deeper deep pockets as Microsoft has, but they are not a poor company. They are pretty powerful, and they already said that okay, we they already confirmed that they have a 17 to 18 billion dollars for the acquisition of new studios, and I don't know how much of that money they spent on it. I don't know if that's like if we can put minus the studios that they acquired last year or something like that. But like they have a good amount of money separated only to buy studios. And I think the best fit for them, to be honest, and especially because of the relationship that they have with the company, as well as the price, would be Square, in my opinion. I think
Yeah.
Square would be the best move that they could ever have.
But
be honest.
also too, Fabio, you got to think about like these developers and publishers. They have to want to be bought, right? Like
Yes,
some of them
exactly.
are choosing to remain independent. Like we have to remember, as excited as I am for this Activision Blizzard acquisition and what it can mean for Xbox and really what it can mean for the developers, right, and creating a better community for them to make good games. We got to remember, right, that like Activision Blizzard was not in a good spot, right? They had about 2 years of terrible PR, all centering around this giant lawsuit with Bobby Kotick and all the things that were going
Yes,
on. The field was primed for them to be bought out because the shareholders wanted out. They didn't want anything else to do with this company. They saw the field and they were looking at it and said, listen, this isn't looking good, right? So I'm so glad that it was Microsoft that landed this deal and it wasn't Tencent and it wasn't Apple or it wasn't Google or Amazon, right?
yeah, but
Because we're actually going to be able to see these new IPs from Activision Blizzard, and we're actually going to be able to see some new growth. They just announced a brand new, all new IP survival game. And I'm telling you right now, if there's one thing that Blizzard can do, Blizzard has been a genius at being able to take a genre and really perfecting it. They did it with Overwatch. They did it with World of Warcraft in its prime, and they did it with Diablo.
in this
Diablo is
prime,
still the de facto action RPG, and regardless of what somebody else might think. And the RTS is with StarCraft. We have so many, and cool thing is Phil Spencer is going to be willing to let these developers do what they want to do. Right, go out there, make a good game, just like they did when they pushed out all of them, and these other games before with Xbox Game Studios.
but like when it comes to I think it's a really good point that you mentioned about. I'm glad that Microsoft bought Activision Blizzard and not Tencent or Google or Amazon, because like according to Bob Cody in the in an interview that he and Phil Spencer did, I don't remember the name of the TV channel or the journalist, but like they said that what prompted this acquisition, this deal, was the metaverse race, because they when you think about what the future of gaming is going to end up being, is going to be about communities. It's going to be like there's the COD community, there's the WoW community, there's the Halo community, and all of those communities need to be somehow united just so they can somehow survive, especially when you have companies like Tencent or Google or Amazon or Embrace Group trying to get everything that they can just to create a giant empire. So Activision Blizzard, I think that they also ended up accepting to be acquired because of the lawsuits, but they also accepted because they wanted to survive so they could compete with Tencent and Amazon and Google and Embrace Group.
I'm telling you, man. Rod Ferguson and he was
Mike and
sent in
Levin.
there. It was incognito. He was sent in to Blizzard and Activision to assess the situation, and they called Phil and they said, "Yeah, this Kotick guy. He's a big douche. We need to buy him right now. Do it now."
Maybe.
But thanks for Power bringing it up, because this brings us right into our next topic. Cannot remember the last time this happened, but Blizzard has announced that they are making a new survival IP in a brand new universe. It's not going to be connected to their Warcraft or their Diablo. It's going to be all new. And I think that's a big step for this developer, because they have always been thought of as the Diablo slash World of Warcraft home for so long. I honestly can't think of anything else Blizzard has ever done other than World of Warcraft and Diablo. But now they're getting that survival of all things. I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of survival games out there. Blizzard better come out swinging, and I got faith they're going to do it, because we're talking about Blizzard, and if they have enough, what's the word I'm looking for? I totally went blank. If they have enough confidence that they're going to make a brand new IP in a new universe, and if they're going to make it a survival game, then it's going to succeed. And by the time that launches, we're going to be the only ones that can play that in our ecosystem.
But I think it's interesting to think about is Blizzard capable of making a brand new, a fresh approach to the survival gaming genre? Yes, I think it is possible because like they decided to make an FPS. Not just that, but they decided to make a MOBA out of that FPS. And like people were thinking, okay, but we have a lot of MOBAs, we have a lot of FPSs. How are you going to innovate that genre and how are you going to make it different and successful to people? And Overwatch was born. Like they managed to do that. And like I think they have a pretty good chance. They have pretty good chances, especially now that they are going to be having Microsoft backing them and giving them all the money, all the technology, and all the resources. I think they are going to manage to do what they want to do, and there's not going to be any fucking Bob Kotick or any fucking suit Activision CEO that is going to say, you know what, you know this feature that we promised, fuck this shit, cut it off. We are going to release the broken game the way it is so we can get some pre-orders like they did with Warcraft Reforged. You know what I mean? So yeah, I think they have good chances.
Are you excited about it, Slayer? You excited about a new IP from Blizzard?
Oh hell yeah! I mean, it looks cool. I mean, I think I've only really seen that one screenshot from it. Um, but I mean, I'm glad that they're kind of moving away from their existing IP and looking at different worlds because that's they're good at that. They flesh out lore very well, and they make a game shine. And I hope that the usual Activision crap doesn't get in the way, and they just are able to make a game that they want to make, the developers want to make, and not, just a cash cow. That's what Activision wants. They don't want anything else. They just want something that makes some money and satisfies the investors. So hopefully they get to work on it, and they get as much time as they can, and they get to make the decisions that they want without, I mean, hopefully, did they say it was going to be a games as a service?
No.
No, they didn't specify that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, they haven't said that yet, but I mean, hopefully not. Or I mean, or at least if they do it, it will be, won't be as egregious as some of the other ones are. But we'll see. But I'm excited. It looks cool. I like the idea of it.
I'll tell you what, Slayer. I'm going to give you the K.Y Bob promise. We're going to go back to the good old days where Call of Duty is worked on by only two studios, and that's Infinity Ward and Treyarch. We're not going to pull resources to do Call of Duty and only Call of Duty because Microsoft's looking for content for Game Pass. So you better believe that every development studio is going to be on its own project and following its own passion. And that's really the way it should be.
Absolutely. And you know what? I'm happy about that because when I just booted up Call of Duty Vanguard, the second screen they show behind the Activision logo is all of the support studios. Knox, what's the other ones? I can't even think of the other ones.
Raven,
Toys for Bob. And I say, wow. Toys for Bob, I'm going to tell you, Crash Bandicoot 4 was an amazing game. And I say, wow, this is a very talented studio that's unfortunately doing support for Call of Duties. I believe Jeff Grubb said that every studio at Activision pretty much is doing Call of Duty games.
yes.
And you think about that, and Bob, you're absolutely right because I would say maybe two of the teams, and Treyarch and maybe like Infinity Ward, because I think they make the best COD games. Infinity Ward does. They should maybe stick to Call of Duty. Somebody stick with Warzone. And let the other studios do something different. Because Xbox Game Pass and Xbox First Party, they don't need a Call of Duty game every year. They're going to have so much content in Xbox Game Pass. Call of Duty won't fit every year. If they make it every other year or every 2 years, I think that would be fantastic. And I think the most important thing for development teams is, of course, budget, but time. And if those teams have extra time, that's going to do great things for those teams and the actual games. So yeah, I agree with what you just said. I think the future is incredible. You know, with Activision Blizzard once this deal is finalized, and I can't wait to see what happens.
And Fabio, don't say a thing. No, Toys for Bob is not going to do Banjo Kazooie. We don't want no more of that crap.
Don't want
Hey,
more-
listen,
wait,
Phil
wait,
Spencer
stop,
himself
stop.
says he needs to get he wants more content for
sorry.
the kids, man. Like the fact that Toys for Bob isn't working on the next Crash or Spyro or whatever right now, and they're being a support studio. That studio is way too talented and is way too creative to just be working on gun models for Activision. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And
that's ridiculous.
It's an absolute shame, man, and it doesn't make any sense. And like I said, it's another one of those positives that's coming out of this whole acquisition. They've even said that overall the studios and at Blizzard and Activision are cautiously optimistic about this. It's really strange. A lot of times, these developers are kind of anti, corporation and all these kind of things. And the fact that they're actually somewhat positive or overall positive about this acquisition just tells you A, how toxic that environment was, and B, how probably sick they are of just pumping out Call of Duty content all the time. You know
Not
what I mean?
only that, but if you think about every developer, every single developer that Microsoft has acquired since Mojang in 2014, not a single developer has had anything but great things to say about being part of the Xbox family. They've been given the freedom to follow their passions. I mean, we saw that Overwatch clone game that was made
Bleeding
by
Edge.
yes, Bleeding Edge. It was trash. I didn't like it, but they got to publish that trash. I mean,
Damn,
which is a great thing.
hey,
That's how
passion
you
project.
find your diamonds in the
Hey,
rough.
you just shat on like
brother,
Fabio's game, man.
brother, I liked
Holy
Bleeding
crap!
Edge. I feel like I'm being disrespected here. Am I the only one feeling that like, goddamn?
I mean,
can't
that
So
was pretty
happens
strong
that
reaction.
I can't
you
talk
like
about
Bleeding
Magic.
Edge
I can't
and
talk.
Banjo.
Shut the fuck up! You like Metal Gear Solid Rising? You like this fucking zombie game for Metal Gear Solid? What are you
I
talking
do.
about?
I loved that game. I
I
really
get
did.
that.
And it was called
I
Metal Gear Survive.
Metal Gear Survive. Thank you for correcting me, but like, especially like, is it true? Do you really need to pay for you to get a new save? Do you need to do that?
Of course you do.
Hey, listen, I'm not one to talk. I put like
That's
40
such a
hours in
great
the
game.
Avengers game, man, and everybody hates that game for some
No,
reason.
no,
But I
no.
actually liked it, man. I was just playing the Black Panther stuff.
Here's the
earlier.
thing. Avengers, Bleeding Edge. Okay, those are low standards. But Bob, he has trash standards because hot damn, mate.
Damn, Bob.
I haven't picked that game up in years.
And you love it so much.
I did like it. I liked it a lot, but as soon as PUBG came out, I quit playing it.
Fair enough, fair enough. Love you, bud.
But yeah. But no developer has had anything to say bad about being part of that. Most of them have talked about it like it's a dream come true because all these developers are part of publishing arms that Bethesda, great example. Do you really think Bethesda wanted to put Fallout 76 out in the state that it was in? No, they did it because ZeniMax knew that the acquisition was coming up and they wanted to make a quick buck.
You know, another thing I want to kind of mention. Sorry to cut you off, but
you're fine, Slayer. I'm glad you're talking.
One of the things that I like, that kind of like, as we're talking about this and I'm thinking about it, you know, and I don't want to start a fanboy war or anything like that. I'm just going based off of like what I read and facts and stuff like that. I'm glad at the end of the day that Sony did not get this deal, even like even though if they would be able to afford it, not only because like they would be stingy about stuff, but on top of that, if you remember, look at Days Gone, right? Is that the name of the game? The zombie one that they're
Yeah.
never going to make a sequel on.
Yeah,
Like
No,
that game,
Yeah,
Yeah,
Days Gone.
everybody wants a sequel for that. Like even the developers
I
wanted to
actually
make a
liked it.
sequel for
Yeah,
that.
I liked it.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't played it. It looked interesting. I wanted to try it out, but I kind of just never got a chance to play it. Like the only freaking Sony exclusive, well, the two of them I played in recent years was God of War and Ghost of Tsushima, both amazing games. I love some of the games that they put out, but I just feel like they're also kind of like they have that mentality, kind of like Activision and some of the other publishers like Ubisoft, where they're mostly after the money. Like that's the one good thing about Microsoft is that they don't necessarily they're not chasing the money because they don't need it. They have other avenues to make that money. Whereas Sony and other companies, they feel the pressure. So like with Days Gone, the developers themselves wanted to make a sequel, and Sony was just like, nah, sorry, it wasn't good. Nobody liked it, even though that's not true. It didn't sell well, and that's it. So you're not going to make one. And it's just like, why? It's kind of that's and then that would be bad if that happened. Because Activision would pretty much kind of just continue on the same path that they were on, in my opinion, if they were bought out by Sony. So, or like Ubisoft, if Ubisoft had that kind of money or whatever, it's So I think they're in good hands, like in that from that perspective. So
Absolutely.
I'll make you a deal, Fabio. When our channel hits 1,000 subscribers, I will sit and stream any banjo game you want. I will stream it for 2 hours straight, and I will have nothing but praise for it.
this is going to be sweet.
Wait, did I miss something? You don't like Banjo Kazooie games? Is that what happened?
He
I don't
should
love
make it
them the
fun.
way he does.
Oh, okay. Because I mean, I heard you shitting on a Bleeding Edge, but like
Like
I
you
didn't
can,
think.
yeah, like you can shit on Bleeding Edge. It's all good. I do understand all the criticisms, and I fucking hate how Ninja Fury decided to treat that game. But I had a lot of fun. But like Banjo Kazooie is just, I don't know what happens to that game. It's just like one of my top three games of all time.
Well, they only had like 12 people working on Bleeding Edge or something like that, right?
Yeah,
Like it
yeah.
wasn't
Yeah,
like
like
it was. I don't think it was ever really meant to be anything larger than what it is. I think they were just like, hey, we'll pump this out, and you never know when something might pop off or blow
I,
up.
I,
You know what I mean?
Well, it
I,
was more of a passion project for them.
Yeah, it was.
yeah, but
Yeah.
It was like somebody in the studio was like, like I kind of want to do this, and Microsoft was just like, yeah, go ahead, but
I
we
mean, like
can't give you too
there's,
many
Yeah, but that's the
resources.
thing.
but I mean, like there's a difference. Like Grounded is a passion project, and by teams even smaller than Bleeding Edge team, but somehow Obsidian managed to, okay, we have a lot of criticisms, but we are going to keep adding things to the game. And for some reason, Ninja Fury not only had a small team, to work on the Bleeding Edge developments because they work with small teams for each one of their games, but they also decided to at the same time accept to work on four more projects: Project Mara, Hellblade, the Insights project, and I think there's another one that I'm not remembering right now. But they decided to do that all at the same
Hellblade 2?
time. No, I mentioned that. Okay,
Yeah.
maybe three projects. I don't remember, three or four, whatever it is. Like they decided to do all of that while they still have a multiplayer that needs content to survive.
Yeah. See,
Yeah,
And like
I
that's
think
that's
that's
the problem.
What were you about to say, Dirt?
no. See, I was saying like that's the thing about like you mentioned. You haven't heard one developer complain about being part of Microsoft because this is a new and improved Microsoft. This is not the Don Matrix Microsoft, right?
Yeah,
Where Bungie wanted to do Destiny and Don Matrix said no.
you're going to do Halo.
Right. This is a new and improved Xbox that's giving these studios carte blanche. Except for they're giving them all the Microsoft resources. So you're seeing games like Bleeding Edge, you're seeing games like Grounded, like you mentioned, Fabio. You're seeing games like Psychonauts 2 be what Double Fine wanted it to be. Because I don't know if you guys saw that interview that Tim Schafer had with Adam Sessler. He said when it was still a Kickstarter, they had to remove all of the bosses.
Yeah.
But when they got acquired by Xbox, they were able to put all of the bosses back in, and that game was absolutely amazing. So
Love it.
what you're
Ah,
seeing,
do tell me it's
these
like this.
see see, so what you're seeing is these studios, Xbox is leaving them alone. Like like you mentioned the example of I believe you said CD Project Red. No, you said some other game that would I forgot what
Ninja.
game you said. What you said, I'm sure they didn't want to release that game in that state, but they probably had no choice.
Fallout 76 and
Yeah,
Bethesda.
Fallout 76. I'm sure the same thing with Cyberpunk 2077. I don't think CD Projekt Red wanted to release that game. They knew the
Hell no.
game wasn't
They
ready.
even come out and said, "Look, we have to delay this game,"
Yeah,
and the
but
stockholders said, "No, we
No.
have to release it."
no, you have to release it. So that's the thing about Xbox. One, the amount of titles they have in development, because they're not going to drop 12 first party AAA games a year, right? They're not going to do that. But what they're going to do, they're going to drop titles, and so those other games, they're going to have extra time to develop these games. This is not last generation where they had to release Record unfinished because they didn't have any damn games. Where they had to release State of Decay 2 and Sea of Thieves with no content in Sea of Thieves, and like State of Decay 2 being buggy as hell. They had to release those games because they literally had no other games to release at those times. This is a different time. They have so much content in development, bro. These studios have tons of times to make quality games, and we're all going to benefit, Xbox fans.
Yeah. When a game is made by a developer with passion and time and care, then you don't. I mean, I don't remember games ever being broken the way they've been broken the last few years. And it's getting out of hand.
Absolutely.
I mean, you got to let the developer follow their passion, because that comes out in the final product, and you've got to give them the time to get it right, so that they don't so that they can get their vision across the way they want it to come across, not broken.
Yep.
And Microsoft gets that.
Mm-hmm.
They just delayed Halo for a year, and I'm playing one of the best campaigns I think I've played since the very first Halo.
All right.
Yeah, I think it stands toe to toe with Combat Evolved, in my opinion. I think it could easily box with Combat Evolved. I mean, Halo 3 campaign is probably overall my favorite of all time. But it sits right up there, man. Like it's so
Yeah, it was
good.
a great campaign. Great
Yeah.
campaign.
Combat Evolved was mostly because of the beginning and especially the mystery of what Halo was going to be, and Infinite brought that back, in my opinion. Especially now that like we know that this is going to be the last game for the next 10 years, so they are going to be adding campaign expansions to it. So
I can't wait.
yeah, the future is really bright for it.
Can any of you
And it's an amazingly solid foundation where they started.
can any of y'all touch on Thember's comment that I have on the screen, because I'm a little lost?
I believe the head of Moon Studios, what did he say? He said something that
He
was
said he
critical of
doesn't like-
Xbox.
He said that he doesn't like Xbox or something like that.
It was something. I don't,
It was about. He said that it was the craziest thing. They said they were the ones that were not about having them on multiple platforms, right? They were the ones that were against having Ori on several platforms in that interview, and that he wanted to work with them. But at the same time, he was talking about working with PlayStation to make a PlayStation exclusive game. It didn't make any sense at all.
Oh yeah, it was something crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Which is a real shame, man, because I love Ori, dude. Ori is probably
Yeah.
my favorite 2D platformer that I've played in recent memory.
Dude,
And
at
I
the
would
very
hate-
end of the first Ori, when I'm getting myself out of that tree with the water coming up and everything, dude, I felt like I conquered the world when I got that.
Mate,
Yeah, dude, I did that
Hey,
shit like 30
man.
times in a row.
brother,
pissed me off.
during the first Ori, during the first cutscene, I cried because of his mother that died. Like I literally cried. Like,
Just the music and the sound, man. Like I'm telling you,
and
like
what's
that.
and not just that, but what's happening on screen, like, it's not just the music. The cutscenes are just so beautiful, and like they don't say a word, but you feel the emotion, the sadness, the happiness. It's amazing. Like, god damn.
That's how I felt during Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons when that game, the ending of that game, is
Really?
hits home. Yeah, it's a little indie game from the same studio that made It Takes Two,
Yeah, yeah.
and yeah, that game. If you haven't played it, I definitely recommend it. It is a very short. It's like I want to say like 4 to 6 hour game, depending on how long you take if you take your time and stuff. But that it's there's no it's like they speak like a I think a made up language, kind of like Sims do. It sounds very strange, but yeah. So there's no like there's no language there, and no, but the scenes are very powerful. Like
Uh, Thember has a Thember's got an explanation for the Moon Studios head. There you go. That's what it was.
Okay, that sums up everything.
Should have known it.
yeah,
There it is. There it is, boys. That's what happened.
So I want to talk about the Master Chief Collection for the first year and some change was a disaster.
Uh,
And now it's a beautiful work of art. It's flawless. It flows so well. It's so stable.
yes.
And Microsoft is looking to extend that collection experience to Gears of War.
Hmm.
Yeah, if I could access every multiplayer mode and every map through
I,
one interface, oh yes.
okay, I would like that.
Yes.
Yeah,
I gotta,
I think that'd be awesome.
I gotta be honest. How would that work? Would be only a compilation of the trilogy? Would we include Judgment? Are we going to include Gears 4? What's happening here?
Well, see, if story wise, it would have to be 1, 2, 3 because that's one story.
Yeah.
4, 5, and 6, that story's not finished yet.
Yeah, but like with the Master Chief Collection, that would be the same thing, but they decided to add Reach and ODST.
Yeah, but
Well,
they could add those things in later.
Later,
I think
yeah.
that they could start. If my opinion, well, we're not. We're speculating on the Gears thing, right? Like we're just talking like speculation at this point, or is that like any confirmation behind that? I just
Well,
want to say because I'm trying to think of like anything else that's in Xbox's like studios or their the stuff that they currently have like locked down and owning that they could add or do like that Master Chief Collection type
No,
experience.
that's it.
Yeah.
Gears is it. That's
Yeah,
it.
I feel like Gears is the only one that makes sense, right? Like
Well,
that's the only logical answer.
I doubt they decide to do a Forza experience. So yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, don't
yeah.
don't forget, ODST and Reach were added. Yes, this is correct, but that was the same story. Reach was a predecessor to the first Halo, and ODST was a different perspective on the new Mombasa invasion by the Covenant as
during
an
Right.
Halo 3.
ODST soldier.
Right, right.
Yes. So we're talking about the same story. It's just they gave you a prequel and they gave you another perspective.
A side story. Yeah.
Right.
Well, we. Mm,
So
I don't-
so I
Well,
think
at the same time, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but
that's all right.
I really wanted to get this in. At the same time, then, if they did do a 1, 2, and 3 Gears compilation, would they add Judgment? Because Judgment was the Halo, was the ODST of Gears. It was a different perspective with a different team.
Maybe they add it later, like you just said.
no, it
Yeah.
wasn't. No. It was a different perspective, and it was also a prequel because that was the time before they
Well,
Barry
yeah,
met
it was a different
Marcus Phoenix.
perspective, or it was it was
was
between
both.
episodes, or
It was
yeah.
no. It was both things. It was a prequel, and it was a different perspective.
Hey, listen, I'm with Thimber. I would like him to redo Fable. I would like him to have all those Fables remastered, redone. Like, give them that Resident Evil 2 flavor, because we have a new Fable coming out, right? And listen, if there's one game that I am so confident in right now, it is anything that Playground Games touches, man, because they are geniuses. And I have full faith that this Fable game is going to be fire, bro. It's going to be so good. I have no doubts in my mind, you know, and I would be honest about it. But I feel like the Fable franchise is untapped potential right now for Microsoft. Now, granted, we have the Gears of War Ultimate Edition, which redoes the one, right?
Yeah.
And it's FPS boosted, right? So you're getting the higher resolution and you're getting the 60 frames in the campaign. Now, they could do a 2 and 3 and make that a collection or whatever, but I think that Fable, and especially, here's my thing. My prediction is we see gameplay from Fable at E3 this year, because it's been in development for 3 years since they've already been in development since they announced that first trailer. It had been in development, I believe, since 2017, if I'm not mistaken, Dirt, or was it around that time? Okay, so speaking of that, look, that's 5 years. That's 5 years that had been in development. This game is getting very close. I wholeheartedly believe that, even with the ongoing pandemic and things like that, I bet you that we're going to see gameplay and probably an extended trailer. Now, the best way to get somebody hyped up for something like that would be to drop the Fable collection, right? You drop the Fable collection, you go in, you do all this stuff, you have another team that's setting all these things. Now they have enough people and manpower, they could do it, you know. And I like to speculate. I just think that Fable would hit really, really good. I don't think that we're going to see Gear 6 this year.
No, we won't.
No. Yeah, I don't think we'll see anything from that franchise until probably 2023, maybe.
Yeah.
So I think that'd be a really good thing to say, hey, listen, like, this game's coming out, and on top of that, you ain't going to have to pay $50 to get a remaster copy of this game. It's going right into Game Pass, just like everything else does. You know what I'm saying?
I'll tell you why, Power, that the reason why we're not going to see another Gears, and why the next Gears 6, will be one of the best Gears. I mean, when you were like 20 years from now, when you think back on Gears of War, you'll think 1, 2, 3, 6. Because well, honestly, and hear me out, because right now Microsoft is in the position where 7 years ago it was Forza Halo Gears. Yeah, Forza Halo Gears. Right now they don't need Gears. So
yes,
they can the coalition can sit back and they can make a gem.
Absolutely.
And
I
it's
agree.
going to be amazing.
Matrix. Do a Matrix game.
I agree. And, you know, that goes to what I just said, you know, because like you say, it was Gears, Forza, Halo back 7 years ago. Now it's Gears, Forza, Halo, Hellblade, Doom, you know.
Exactly.
Oh, my God.
So many other games. And
Fallout.
like you said, right, Fallout, Elder Scrolls, Call of Duty. So it's like, now, like you said, they can just be in the background, just crafting and making the best Gears game possible. Because if you think about it, last generation, they dropped pretty well. If you include Gears of War Ultimate Edition, they dropped 3 Gears games.
Yeah,
last generation.
Yeah,
it was like clockwork.
It was a 3-year increments.
Yeah,
or was it 2-year increments? Yeah, it was 3-year increments, and they were doing their thing last generation. But they're taking their time. They're letting us miss Gears, which I love, and I can't wait to see. I think it should be 1, 2, 3. You know, like the Marcus Phoenix collection, right? Where those 3 games, you were obviously Marcus Phoenix, and just make it look incredible, because we heard that they were working on a smaller project before Gears 6, and this is probably it, because they wanted to get more familiar with Unreal Engine 5. Hopefully this is it.
Oh, if that collection is in Unreal Engine 5, Dirt. Ooh.
Yeah, I'm telling you. Listen, you know, like they said, the coalition is one of the best studios when it comes to Unreal Engine.
Oh man, you guys are killing me right now. You're really making me want to fire up and play some Horde.
Listen, man, I don't care what anybody says. I love Gears 5. I thought Gears 5 was a good ass game.
Wait a second.
It's one of the best looking games on Xbox.
Is Gears 5 hated? Is Gears 5 hated?
No, I don't think it's hated. I just don't think it's getting the props that it deserves, especially High Busters. Have you guys played High Busters on the Series X?
High Busters.
Oh my God.
I'm I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Wait a second. What do you mean doesn't receive the props that it needs? Like, are people
Well,
really? Were
no,
people
no.
sad with
Okay.
Gears 5? What
No,
happened?
but they were with Gears 4,
Yeah.
and a lot of worries and went into five's release. A lot of people were like, well, 4 and then 5. So I mean, yes, 5 was a great game, but at the same time it carried that concern and that stigma that people still had from Gears 4. And with
I'm
enough time to miss and love Halo, I mean not Halo, Gears, and do it right,
I'm gonna
6
say
is going to
okay.
be remembered
I
I'm
before
gonna
have
tell
I
you what
have
5.
really happened, Fabio. This
I
is what
have a
actually happened
theory.
because I was there for this whole thing playing out. So what happened is there were certain Xbox centric channels that had a real problem with the Gears franchise moving on from Marcus Phoenix and focusing on Kate and a woman and all this kind of stuff. And at the same time was boosting up The Last of Us 2 and Horizon Zero Dawn and Forbidden
Ah,
West and other female centric characters. They had a real they were downplaying it, saying, "Oh, this ain't Marcus," and we don't like these characters. The whole Marcus and Dom thing. And my thing is, man, the Gears franchise doesn't live in this like bubble where everybody's immortal, man. Like Marcus is gonna get old. You know what I mean? Like he
yep,
doesn't exist in this world to like just live forever. You know what I'm saying?
yep.
I like the new characters, man. I love like like Dirt was talking about, man. Hive Busters was dope. I love that, and that was some of the best. Like that jungle and that whole environment they were on,
Beautiful.
I'm
bro.
I'm,
And and
I'm
and
sorry.
when, and when you're on that volcano, man, and like you're fighting all this, bro. It
Like,
is like A
I
plus on a Series X, bro, on a 4K TV. Incredible.
I think the problem with Gears 4 that at least I felt was first things first, we have a bad main character. I'm sorry, but Marcus Phoenix' son is not a charismatic character for it to be the main character. I'm sorry, like he
Yeah, but it
was
was about Kate though. It was gonna
no,
be about
no,
Kate.
no,
You
no.
know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah, yeah, no worries. But like, what we got was Marcus Phoenix's son, and it didn't work out. But his friend Dell and Kate were really good. I really loved her uncle, like Oscar, motherfucking Oscar. Like,
Yeah,
I
he was
thought,
cool.
oh,
He
I
was
thought, oh
cool.
my God, how is this guy better than our main character? God damn it! But like, I think the other problem that we ended up having was that people for people were considering Gears 4 to be actually a totally sequel of Gears 3. And it kind of is, but the problem is that it's not it's the beginning of a brand new trilogy, a brand new adventure with new characters. So it can't like start as happened in Gears 3. It can't have that much emotional impact like we had in Gears 2 with Don and his wife, and in Gears 3 when we end up losing Dom. You know what I mean? We can have that. It's the beginning of a brand new adventure. It's just killing monsters, shooting them, and using the chainsaw. And what was the first Gears of War? It was killing monsters, shooting them, and using the chainsaw. It didn't have any emotional impact. That just started with Gears of War 2 and it went to 3. So with the beginning of a brand new trilogy, they decided to repeat the formula and people didn't understand that.
I don't know, man. Gears One blew my mind when it came out.
Blew me away,
No,
man.
no,
It
Blew
it
me
did.
blew
No,
Well,
no,
my.
away.
it
yeah.
did.
I
When
It
couldn't
Gears
did.
believe the
1 came
graphics,
out,
bro.
there was nothing
That looked
that
better.
Yes,
there was
yes.
yeah, there was nothing that
The
looked better, and there
graphics.
was nothing ever before. There was nothing that ever
A
had
cover,
that gritty,
a
that
cover system,
gritty that you
a
know
cover system that actually works. Like we had that
it
with
was
Perfect
like
Dark. We had that with
It was the cover shooter, man. You
Yeah,
know what I'm
like
saying?
and
Like,
like the previous game that we had that didn't work out with that was Perfect Dark Zero. You know what I mean? I totally understand the revolution that Gears of War was, but I'm trying to say like people were saying, it didn't evolve so much when it compares with Gears of War 3, and I think it shouldn't because it's the beginning of a new trilogy in terms of
when
in story wise. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because Gears 3, it reminds me of like Avengers Endgame, man. Like you know, you're never going to hit that level again. You know what I'm saying, with that storyline. You know what I mean? Like, so yeah, you're going to have to start a brand new, fresh story. I think a lot of
Exactly.
people's issue with Gears 4 was there was a lot of BTs, right? There was a lot of fighting robots, and people weren't like too feeling that the constant BT situation. They like to fight the swarm and fight, and and the characters that you're used to, and like General Rom from the original, right? How over, crazy, and then the Queen. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of really good characters. However, I think that Gears 5 did a really good job of setting up a brand new story, and
With
also
emotional impact.
interconnecting all the characters that you see in that storyline. You know what I'm saying? And also, too, bro, let's talk about that decision that you got to make at the end of the game. Bro, let's talk about that.
That's
you know what I'm
pretty
saying?
crazy. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's crazy.
You know,
When I saw,
I've played video games my entire life, and the very first Gears of War was the only game that made me step back and say, "Holy crap, this is a video game for adults."
Yeah.
I did
It
that
just
with Pong.
it had that oh, Pong, really?
Get out of
I
here.
just kidding, just kidding, just kidding. I just love to be
Oh
sarcastic.
gosh.
I really
Yeah,
hope, me personally, I really hope that it's Fable.
That's
I'm,
what I'm
I'm,
saying. I'm
I'm good.
holding out
I'm good
hope,
on Gears of
Slayer.
War.
I'm glad you're with me.
I think remaking Fable will be much more expensive than remaking the Gears
Well, it's not.
franchise.
It's not remaking. It's just remastering, right? I'm not asking them to remake it because I think
Well,
that the first three games like hold up really well in my opinion. Like
You
I
think
played
so?
through.
I
Yeah, I
think Fable
mean,
needs a remake because the graphics doesn't look that good to me.
well, no, but that's the whole point of a remaster, right? Is to uplift the graphics. It's not to like remake is like where you're like literally
Like
changing up
Resident
the
Evil
game.
was a remake.
Yeah, like you're
Yeah.
changing up parts of the game and stuff. Like
A
but a
remaster is just
remaster.
Grand Theft
I don't
Auto.
know.
Yeah,
Like the new
where you
Grand Theft
just
Auto. See,
exactly.
I think they need a
hell
remake.
no.
I think it needs a remake because I think
I
I
think it
played
needs a
Fable not
remake.
too long ago. Excuse me. I think those graphics, in my opinion, the graphics didn't age too well. I was like, ugh.
Yeah.
Oh no,
just
no,
gotta-
yeah,
just go
no.
on the first
The
one.
graphics
Shout
don't
out to
come down.
Thember. Thember's in the chat every week, and to answer Thember's question, it's called Leisure Suit Larry, and yes, they are still making them. They just came out with another one last year.
Oh no, but there was actually like a Playboy Mansion game, if I remember correctly. It was like only on the PC.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that. I think it was on the PS2
Yeah.
also.
Oh, I don't know about that, but I
Sure.
know it was on PC.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Can I bring up the last topic and
Go
my
on.
favorite topic? I saved the best for last.
All yours. Go.
Okay, so Respawn Entertainment have declared that 3 Star Wars games are under development. They are, of course, making a sequel to Jedi Fallen Order.
Great game.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, amazing game. And second, they are making a first-person shooter from Peter Hersham, which, if you don't know who that is, he has made a couple of Medal of Honor games. He was co-producer in Jurassic Park: The Lost World. So I don't know what we're going to get from that, but it's going to be a first-person shooter. And the most interesting bit is this third game that really has my interest piqued. The third Star Wars game is going to be a strategy game through a publishing collaboration between studios. Now, they haven't said what that studio that they're collaborating with is going to be. But if you all know gaming and gaming history, there was a great real-time strategy game called Empire at War for Star Wars. It was an amazing game. It allowed you to, battle on a planet, real-time strategy, and then go up into space and then go to another planet and take care of another skirmish. It was really cool. So Respawn and Bit Reactor. Has any of you heard of Bit Reactor? I don't. It does not ring a bell, but apparently that is a collaboration on the strategy game, and I have no
I
idea
never
who
heard
that
of it.
is.
I never
Who
heard of
are
it.
they?
Yeah, I never heard of that.
God damn it.
But Respawn is going all out. I mean, not only are they making 3 Star Wars games, but these are 3 completely different genres. They're making Jedi Fallen Order, which in all rights was a story-told third-person game. They're making a first-person shooter, and they're making a strategy game. And when they say strategy, it's going to be an RTS. That's just it. What other strategy game can you make? It's not a real-time strategy game. So think Command and Conquer, think Halo Wars, but Star Wars. I mean, they're like hitting on all bases. I mean, we're talking 3 different genres. And wow.
When it comes especially to the FPS, I hope they are going to be bringing back Republic Commando. Like, okay, being a Jedi is fun and all, but like, come on, guys, stormtroopers.
You want to be a stormtrooper.
Who doesn't?
Hey, you
wanna
know
be
what?
You were a stormtrooper at heart.
Who
Hey,
doesn't want to be a stormtrooper? I don't have to aim. I just have to hip fire and shoot everything that I see.
Hey, you know what? I was thinking, you know how like people say Xbox One was an underwhelming generation. EA had a very bad generation last generation, from Mass Effect Andromeda to the Battlefront 2 issues to so many issues they had last generation. The only bright spot for EA last generation was Respawn. They made some pretty quality games last generation, and so like they were so good that they actually promoted Vince Zampella, because he pretty much saved EA last generation. They had an abysmal generation, and they trust Respawn and their quality developers. So them doing 3 Star Wars games, I think is a pretty good decision.
Dirt, like, man, I always look at it and I always thinking about this too, man. Like, could you imagine? Because they were working with Respawn. Xbox One was working with Respawn way back in the day. How awesome would it have been if during the Xbox One generation they had acquired them, and then all these other games would have been under that Xbox ecosystem? I always like to think about that kind of stuff, man, because the first Titanfall, I probably put hundreds of hours into, bro. Like it was basically like the only game I was playing there for a while.
It was a great game, man.
Yeah.
It was a great game.
Yeah.
Like Titanfall was so good that I think when Titanfall actually released, I believe Xbox One won NPDs that month. And that's something they rarely did last generation,
right?
But that's how great Titanfall was.
It was on the Xbox One box. I got my box in there. You remember that? It had the Titanfall in the back on the back of the box. I remember, or maybe the front of the box, the Titanfall edition or whatever. Right. But it was the big Xbox One or whatever from back in the day. But
yeah, the Xbox One fat.
Yeah,
I think one of the best facts about Titanfall is that the group that decided to go to Respawn and to develop Titanfall, they were former Call of Duty developers, but they were just start of Activision and they decided to move on and do something else. And so they came up with an idea that would be so different and so innovative that would cause the big Titanfall of Call of Duty. You understand what I did there? You understand what it was?
Yeah, I see what you did.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Listen,
it would have been even better if you said Killzone by Titanfall of Call of Duty.
What the?
Listen, all this is going to show. All this is showing all of us when we're talking about it. We're messing around and bullshitting, but at the end of the day, this is just showing the crazy mountain that Sony is going to have to climb to try to figure out how to match the content that's about to be coming out on the Xbox platform. Like, it is about to get to the point where I think Xbox is going to have a harder time trying to manage these releases than they are actually having to worry about somebody to compete with, because you're going to have Call of Duty releasing, you're going to have Starfield releasing, you're going to have all of these other games they've already have locked down, not to mention all the Activision Blizzard games and all the Bethesda titles and the Xbox Game Studios, man. Like, it's going to get to the point where I'm already at that point where I can't keep up with all these games dropping into Game Pass.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's a great point, man.
Yeah.
I need more hard drive space.
Exactly. But you're right about that. And you know, I'm going to be honest. I actually like PlayStation exclusives. I really do. But you have to realize they kind of put themselves in a box.
Mm-hmm.
All of their games are similar, third person, story driven, action adventure games. Now they're realizing they need to do different types of games. And it's almost kind of like they might be kind of behind because they're developing those games now, but their studios, their strengths of the studios they have are story driven, third person action adventure games. And, that's fine, but it like all of the biggest games in the community right now that's making all of the money are multiplayer games. And obviously Sony, they're making those types of games now, but they're kind of behind. Like who's like guaranteed that their multiplayer games that's being developed are going to be hits? Because even Jim Ryan himself said, these 10 to 20 million PlayStation exclusives sold just isn't cutting it anymore. Yes, they bought a bunch of small development studios last year, but most of those guys are doing, support work to port some of their games to PC. I mean, there's some doing some original stuff, but so I think they're going to be fine. Of course, it's Sony, they're going to be fine, but the content Xbox has, the diversity of the content they have, is going to be amazing, man. Like, it's going to be incredible. And
I mean,
like you guys said, how can they respond to it?
I'm so excited every time I see an acquisition because I'm going, oh, goody, more games I don't have to spend money on. Yay!
Right. And that means a lot, for us as adults, and gaming is our favorite hobby. I'm assuming that. But saving money on my favorite hobby is amazing.
I wouldn't be doing a podcast, brother, if it wasn't my favorite hobby.
Exactly.
It's the weirdest flex to me when Sony guys get out there and they say, "Oh, I don't mind spending $70 and I want to do. You just broke if you got Game Pass and all this. Get out of here." Listen, when Sony's Spartacus thing drops and we get official, wait and see all the cap you're going to see on Twitter about how good of a service this is, and this is going to kill Game Pass. Especially from a few of the, the ones.
Yeah,
the ones going to be out there doing
the usual suspects, right?
Yeah.
And let me say this right quick. You know what pisses me off? Just be honest, right? Why is it in video games you guys say, no, I want to own my games. I want to pay $70. That's the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life. Just imagine going to Best Buy and the brand new TV's on sale. You say, no. I don't want the sale price. Give me the regular price. I want to support the devs, the TV. It's so stupid to me. Like, if you can play all of these, like, they're not real gamers to me. If PlayStation dropped a service like this, I will subscribe immediately.
And Dirt, I've always said that the way I have always looked at Game Pass is that as an Xbox fan, Game Pass is my forever home for every first party title ever released, except for, the older Forzas because of licensing issues. I know that my games are always going to be there. I'm always going to own them, and I can delete them and re-download them or whatnot. I mean, it's my forever library, Game Pass.
Right, there you go.
Except for the third-party stuff. That comes and goes. But my first-party stuff, outside of licensing issues, is always going to be there.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, let's not forget, they believe in generations, and they want to pay for their games. And that's the type of model that's going to get them left in the dust. And I really do feel, and this is my honest opinion, I do feel that if Sony doesn't find a way to either speed up the evolution that they're trying to do, because – listen, they know that they need to go day and date, and they know they need to drop their games on PC day and date. But the issue is now they kind of back themselves into a corner, right? Because they've thrived on this exclusivity and this you need a PlayStation, and now they have this fan base that ain't trying to hear nothing about day and date. They don't want to see those games day and date, and they don't want to see their games on PC. As cool as they try to act about it, go ahead and look on YouTube and you
Well,
see all the crying that you see whenever God of War drops on PC with better features than the PlayStation has, and they haven't even had a true upgrade on the PlayStation with that game, right? So go ahead.
Oh, well, you're hitting the nail right on the head, because all these companies are learning from each other. So when Sony sees one company earning more money another way because that game, after it reached its peak and it started to fall off on sales on their home platform, starts to get rejuvenated and make more money on a new platform, of course they're going to do that. But you've got these fanboys that look at that as a slap in the face or some sort of disgrace. And I mean, come on. You definitely don't have stock in the company, because if you did, you'd be happy they were making more money.
It's not even about that, Bob. They have spent the entire generation of the PlayStation 4 touting it, saying that we have these games and you got to have a PlayStation, and now all your Xbox games is on PC. I remember seeing dudes on Twitter saying that you don't need this. All you need is a PC and a PS4. Now it's all you need is a PC and a PS5. So as soon as Sony drops these games day and date and starts doing this stuff on PC, that whole rhetoric dies with it, and they don't know what to do about it. You know what I'm saying?
I've always thought of Xbox and PC. I mean, maybe it was Phil Spencer's fault. He groomed me this way. He groomed us this way. But I look at my Xbox and my PC as the same platform. Like, if I'm playing on my Xbox, like if I'm playing at multiplayer and I don't really want to hop in to see my friends list, I've got my Game Pass app running on my PC right next to me so that I can keep track of who's online and everything. To me, it's one service. And I don't know, that's just the way I'm always going to think about it.
Yeah, I mean, I think about it like that too. I do, like, I prefer to play on a console, right? That's just what I like. I've done the whole PC thing and give it a shot and all that, and I just don't think it makes much sense monetarily speaking, and I don't think it makes a lot of sense with, like, I like to be able to come home from work, sit on my couch, man, chill, turn on my controller, and just play a game.
Exactly.
And now with the Series X, man, with quick resume and all that, like, I literally don't even have to wait, to jump back into playing Halo or exactly where I was at. You know what I'm saying?
Dude, with a busy lifestyle, wife and kids, I can't put myself at a computer desk to play games. I can put myself out in the living room with the rest of the family. Even when I'm back here, in the studio, and I decide to launch an RTS on the computer to the wife, I'm back here too long. It's just isolating. And it's just the way that it's going. People want to play on consoles because they're included in their family's lives. Definitely.
Yeah, absolutely.
But that right there, my friends, brings us to the end of this episode of the XBL Party USA podcast. So, Power Man, brother, my partner in crime, where can people find you?
Man, well, hey, before I go, I just want to do a shout out to Dirt, man. I just want to say I appreciate you coming out and giving us a shot. I mean, we're a small channel, dude. And I know that, listen, this is why I love the Xbox community, because we've started reaching out to a lot of people. And like last week, we had Noof Nukem and we had K Mega come on the show. And, you guys, obviously, you guys have been at this for a long time. And I just want to say I respect everything that you guys do in the community. And I just want to say thank you from the XBL Party podcast for coming on the show with us, man.
Amen.
No problem, bro. Listen, man, we're talking video games. I don't give a damn if you have one subscriber, bro. I mean, we're just talking video games, man. And I love to talk video games. I have a passion for it. So if someone asks me, do I mind coming on? Of course. If I had the time, yes, I would be on. So no problem, man. I appreciate the invite.
Not a problem, man.
That goes right back to somebody that one time was really nervous about being on a podcast. And I told him, I said, dude, just act like you're in an Xbox Live party and shoot the shit.
That's it, man.
That's all we're here doing, man. We're talking about our passion and we're bouncing ideas and we're seeing everybody's viewpoints on topics. That's all it
We
is.
like we
That's it,
weren't
man.
kidding when we named this podcast, to be honest.
That's
But yeah,
right. The Xbox Live Party Podcast.
Yeah, man. It's fun, bro.
But yeah, man. But so I'm my name is Powerman 4K. You can always catch me on Twitter at Powerman 4K. I'm on Xbox at Powerman 4K. I do plan on doing some more YouTube content as soon as I can get a couple of things locked in. But yeah, that's where you can catch me, man. It was a great show, man.
All right.
That
Sound good
is
to me, man.
awesome.
Yeah,
And
so if
Mr.
anybody not familiar with my channel, Dirt Griggity, just go and stop by. We do a podcast on Monday evenings called WBG Xbox Podcast. We talk a lot of trash. We talk a lot of trash about PlayStation fanboys, but we also talk gaming news. That's what we do, So to stop on by and say what's up if you guys haven't already. So appreciate it.
And Fabio, oh my goodness, where can people find you?
Damn.
are you that tired of me? God damn.
No, 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 no.
Yes, you are. No worries. I'll make sure to not be part of the next episode. It's all good.
Oh no, we love you here, man. You keep us grounded. You just hold us up on topics. That's all.
I know. Well, for those who don't know, my name is Fabio. I'm from Brazil. Hey, how you doing? And but I am the co-founder of the XBL Party podcast. Me and my friend from the UK, Ash, we decided to make this show, and then Bob joined us as well as Slayer and Parman, and they decided to make the XBL Party Podcast USA. Such a really good show. Really glad to be here once again to talking about video games. You can find me not just here as an intruder, but also on the other show that we end up doing and on video reviews that we have for the channel. But you can also find me on Twitter as FBO Amorim97, as well as on Xbox as Bullfun Lizard 8. Don't ask about the name. And yeah, that's it.
That is so awesome. Thank you for sharing that. And I would
I feel some sarcasm coming from you.
I would really like you to talk about your new and upcoming show and when we might expect that.
Should we talk about that now? Okay, thanks so much for the hints. So, my idea was during some of my ideas for what I could add to the show, I decided to think about what about I make a show where I talk about the history of game studios, but not just that, but I share some sh- parts of the development process of their biggest games, like features that almost no one knows, and I would make a really big research and telling almost all of the details, plus by adding a lot of humor editing. And with that, I decided to create the gaming archives where I will be doing that. The first show is going to be about Rare Studios, and I just finished the script for it.
Will it be from the milk store?
It has fucking 13 pages. Okay then.
Tom, go ahead. I'm fine.
I saw his fucking his little shits comment. Fuck your finger. No, just kidding, brother. And maybe depending on how the time is going to be, I can finally manage to record and edit everything as I hope it goes. And it's just been a blast. Hopefully soon it's going to be released. It's going to
Will
be
it
a
be in Portuguese?
no, it won't. So it just doesn't make any sense at the moment for it to be in Portuguese, especially because the video would probably take like all an hour or two, would have an hour of duration or even more than that, and like to just translate every single thing to English is just fucking horrible.
Well, We appreciate you being here and showing up every week that you can, Fabio. I would not want you to not.
Really glad, always glad to be here.
And Dirt Griggity,
What about Slayer? Like, are we forgetting
I'm
about
not.
Slayer?
I'm getting to Slayer, but Bossy One, if you know him in the chat, just said, "What's up, Dirt?"
Hey, what's up, Bossy One? How you doing, brother?
And our last panel member, the other USA resident of the USA Party Podcast, Mr. Slayer Exclusive. Where can people find you? What have you been doing? Come on, tell us.
Yeah, so I have my own YouTube channel, Slayer Exclusive Gaming, where I basically upload like videos. I do some reviews here and there, but it's mostly about like let's plays and like walkthroughs and achievement guides and stuff like that. Right now, I currently have Elder Scrolls Online, and that's one of my projects. Another project that I have going on right now is Kings of Amalur and King's Quest, which King's Quest is about to end, so that's going to be replaced by a new project. And I have another project in the works as well that's going to be coming up. And I recently hit kind of a milestone. I reached 250 subs, so pretty excited about that.
Woohoo!
Yeah, so I'm going to
Congratulations,
be
bro.
doing. Thank you.
Huge congrats, bro.
Thank you. So I'm going to be doing a live stream / giveaway. I'm saying it right here, right now. I haven't said it on Twitter yet, but I'm going to set it up tomorrow for next Friday. And yeah, so it's going to be a live stream and a giveaway. So you heard it here first.
I just wanna,
Okay.
I just wanna say I better win this giveaway, or you are going to be out of the channel. Okay, just wanted to. Yeah,
Well, this
just-
time there's going to be 2 prizes. So
there we go, much better.
so there you go. You have more chances of winning.
One for me and the other one for Ash. There we go.
Yeah. I mean, Ash is going to be sleeping at that time because it's going to be like around like I want to say 7 or 8 p.m. Eastern. I haven't decided yet, but
Yeah,
I'm going
yeah.
to set all that up tomorrow.
Just
But yeah, I'm still not even sure what I'm going to play. I'm probably going to put a poll up on Twitter to see, what people are interested in.
Get
But
Ash to play Final Fantasy VII. We're still waiting on that shit.
we're still waiting. For
I
that.
mean, hey, that's his stream. This is my stream. I don't know. But he said. I mean, I was talking to him the other day. He said he's going to do it soon. But yeah. So that's going on my YouTube channel. And other than that, like I said, you can find me on Twitter, and then other than that, you can find me on here doing some reviews every now and then for the channel, and obviously as part of the XBL Party Podcast of USA. And yeah, some of the other shows. I mean, I'm sure we're gonna keep doing our Saturday live streams, game streams. Now that we've moved that show to a different time slot, so
Yep.
it's pretty exciting times ahead. We're gonna be able to do more gaming and still, continue with the podcast episodes and stuff like that, and talk shows and stuff. So, Thimber says Slayer be slaying monsters all the time in ESO. Yep, definitely. I'm trying to actually like get through. Like I'm trying to, like that project is huge because I'm actually trying to play through the whole game, like, and trying to like upload all of it on YouTube. It's crazy, but I'm already like up to like part 100 something. It's insane. But
Do you
yeah.
expect to be alive to finish this project, or are you going to put your grandchildren to be part of it as well? Because holy
We shall
fuck.
see. We shall see. Because I mean, that game is only getting bigger. But I think I can make it to a point where I eventually catch up to the current expansion. So we'll see. We'll see.
And this is your host, K.Y Bob. You can find me, K.Y Bob, Xbox, PlayStation, Twitter, Steam, and you can find me bringing you these smooth sounds every Thursday night on the XBL Party USA stream. Everybody, have a great night. Have a great weekend. It was nice to be seen, and it was nice seeing you. Thanks for telling a friend. Good night.
Night, guys.
Thanks so
Have a
much.
good night, everybody.
Peace out.
Peace out.
Peace out.
Peace out.
Peace out, player.
There we go.